Guys, it is Silent Husky here. There's going to be new face cam today, and just because I'm doing something a little different and I don't see my need for the PNG tuber, but this is going to be a new segment that I'm going to be doing every so often, probably every few days, called the Wizard101 news board, where I'm going to be going over certain topics, and you will get to watch some just some Wizard101 gameplay in the background, while you can just put me in the background and just listen to what topics we will be covering. And also, if you are looking or curious about certain videos and such that I mention in this video, I will leave a whole bunch of links down below, including the channel of who it's from, and also their, obviously their channel and stuff, so you can go check them out, give them a follow, give them some love, tell them that Silent said hello, if you so wish. But besides that, let's get into our first topic of the day, which is a tournament that happened earlier this week. On Saturday, it was a Wizard101 PvP tournament hosted by none other than Stormy Z. Once again, we'll link his Twitch down below. We'll link his YouTube down below. He's streaming. He usually streams. And this was his first sort of community Wizard101 tournament that we did on Saturday. I was part of it as sort of a co-commentator, co-streamer on my Twitch channel. And we had it was an alright performance. We had 8 people show up. Technically 7. Somebody did not show until before it was too late, unfortunately. But we had a great time. It was a very chill, fun tournament. If you want to go and check out the VOD, I bet Stormy has a VOD on his Twitch, or you can check out my VOD if you do want to go back and sort of see what happened during that tournament. And Stormy has made it known that he will be possibly doing it again in the future. Maybe this time with different levels and maybe some different rules and such, just to make it a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. There were 13 packs that were given away on the tournament date to the winner of said tournament. And it was just overall a very fun experience and a very enjoyable community experience that I think a lot more people, if you are very much interested, you will be able to hear it again, and I will announce it on the next news board that I do that has another tournament coming up. I will definitely let you guys know when that happens. Next on the docket here, we'll be talking about the Wizard101 update in test realm currently. And with one of the patch notes being that, credit to Sauce, as he made an entire video on it, I will link his thing down below, that the spells that are spellmented that you get from Beast Moon that haven't been trainable before, like Heck Hound, Judgment, Frostbite, and Poison, are now going to be actually physically trainable in this upcoming summer patch, summer update, which makes sense, but it also deals another question about the training point problem, and also some questions about obvious school identity that could be a factor to obviously some changes maybe need to the entire system of just the entire train point system as a whole, and maybe some other things of the sort. And obviously it does it's a nice change, don't get me wrong, but it will probably lead to some more troubles with just overall needing to, of course, train up to that spell, which obviously comes into question of how many spells do you need to train to unlock said spell. And then obviously the fact that it could lead to also some identity problems with Storm's, pins being stronger and better than, a life or myth weaving into balance. You could see where a top A path judgment could actually be a lot better on a Storm weaving into balance than an actual balance using that top path judgment, or somebody else trying to weave into that top path as well. Overall, I think the update, this summer update obviously has mixed feelings, and I know is always going to be a mixed feelings, especially for updates like this. But overall, most of the stuff that has been added, very interesting, very game-changing. Obviously, there is the new item that is coming out, the one Athame. You've probably seen it. That is like level 40, and it gives a whole bunch of good stats and stuff. basically becoming the sort of Sky Iron Hasta of level 40 Barkingham Palace. Obviously, test realm is still in its early phases. This is only week, I think, number 2 that has actually been open fully. So stuff is definitely going to be changed, and other things will be fixed, changed, bug fixed. Just make sure if you are playing test realm to report anything or make your comments known so you can hopefully at some point get your, you know, voice heard, or, you know, people will actually check out what you're talking about. You know. But besides that, the last thing I wanted to talk about is, I guess I wouldn't really call it, well, it is sort of like a drama thing, but the last thing I wanted to cover is Liam and the Liam Wizcord saga, I guess you want to call it, because this is, he made a recent video recently, once again, link in the description, you can check it out, where he was talking about the community managers on the Wizcord and some, you know, concerns and stuff and other things in his video. Once again, just gonna leave the thing in the description below so you can take a look at it. I'm not gonna give my thoughts about it either. I'm just here to give you the news, and that's basically it. You can take a look at it, you can discern it for yourself, and just let me know, or let me know in your comments your thoughts below about the topics that I covered today. And also, if you have any other topics that need to be covered or want to be covered, be sure to let me know as well. But besides the Liam thing, not a lot of things. Obviously, the video said he, you know, I think the title of the video had something to talk about, you know, fire rate community matters and stuff like that. You know, like I said, you know, take a look at his video. You know, obviously, Wizard101 discourse is very much something that I don't like to talk about, but obviously when there is discourse, especially from such a popular WizTuber, Wiz content creator and such, you know, you can't really overlook it without sort of mentioning that it is going on, because you do want to acknowledge that there is stuff going on within the community that, you know, really does sort of divide the community. Am I going to side with or against what Liam is talking about on his videos? No. That's not for me to decide. I'm just here to, you know, news. You know, I tell you how it is, or what, you know. Obviously, if Wizard101 or King's Owl wants to, you know, obviously me being a news person and sort of doing this sort of thing, if there is any stories and stuff that needs a second side to it and sort of giving the other side of the coin, right? You know, we see what Liam is posting, but we don't see anything from the other side of the thing. Obviously, once again, like, you know, it might just be something, but I don't know. Once again, that's not my, you know, my decision to pick a side. You know, once again, you know, if you want to watch Liam's video, I will link it in the description. Just, you know, obviously when there is, I'll say it again, you know, just whenever there's sort of a, you know, divide community-wise like this, you know, it really does sort of hurt the state of the game, which is something you don't like to see. Obviously, I know I don't like seeing drama that sort of really divides the community over most circumstances, especially if it's something, you know, that could be actually very serious. You know, depending on what the situation is. If it's something very serious and needs to be addressed, then it definitely needs to be addressed. But, you know, that's just, you know, something that needs to happen, you know, from the community. You know, the community, if they talk about it enough and really make it known that it's a problem, then yes, I think something would come of it. But besides that, you know, like I said, it's just news. It's just, at the end of the day, you know, this news is news. It could be, you know, there could be some stuff that comes to fruition later. There might not. Who knows? But besides that, I don't think there is anything left here. No, there is not. I don't have anything left. So yeah, I think we will just end it up here. If you are interested in more Wizard101 sort of quick news videos like this, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out the rest of my content, because I do other things than just talk about random Wizard101 news. I've done a couple of starting playthroughs and stuff. I sort of stopped it, but if you want to go back and take a look at that, you definitely can. I also do have a couple of coaching sort of things. I've made a part of my Deaf Masterclass is currently available to be watched. So if you are somebody who is the deaf school and wants to just learn more about the school, definitely check that out. And also check them out on Twitch. I do try to stream as often as possible. I haven't been streaming as of right now because of just some personal stuff that I'm dealing with right now. So besides that, you know, that will do it for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Peace out and have a good one.